Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
Finally!
Give it up for Mr. Direct.
Woo!
Mr. Direct, are you crazy? Woo! I want you to join me.
He has his own real talk. Give it up for Mr. Direct.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, what's going on? What are you doing? It is Monday. I wish it was a manic Monday. Oh, 'cause that's my fun day. Oh, it's your man, Mr. Direct, doing what he does best, bringing you just a little bit of real talk. Oh, it's a pleasure to be back with you. Today I'm solo. Any camera direction I give you, it's all going to be about your man, Mr. Direct, because your man, Mr. Direct, is ready to just give you a little bit of real talk. I hope you're ready to deal with it. I hope you could say, yes, I could deal with that. I hope you say, yes, I'm ready for that. I hope. I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong. You could say, Mr. Direct, I don't want to deal with you. I'm not ready for you. I think you're full of shit. Whatever you want to say, I'm willing to go for. Whatever you want to say to me, I'm willing to deal with. Because either way, I'm here to give you guys just a little bit of a real talk. How about just a little bit? Just a little bit, just like that much. Oh, we got a lot to talk about. So little time to do it, but we got a lot to talk about. You know, coming into it, I really wanted to talk to you guys about a lot of things. It's Monday, so much to talk about. I don't have all day, you know. Can I ask you guys, are you watching something? What's your favorite TV show? You know, I got a guest calling number 347-205-9571. That's right. I got a guest calling number 347-205-9571. Call in if you want to join in on the fun. It's your man, Mr. Direct. I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to give you just a little bit of real talk. And then when you say, Mr. Direct, how can you give me real talk? I'm going to tell you how I can give you real talk, because I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to give you fair, balanced information that I know from my experience and my views, and hopefully you share those same views back. And it doesn't have to match my views, but you share your opinion. I grow with you, you grow with me. Together we grew. You know, we grow together. You know, I stumble on words, but that's it. You know what? Maybe if I take this shot real quick. Listen, big ups to, I got to give a big ups to Deanne and her husband, Mr. Lawrence. They came through my new crib. They came through with liquor in hand. When you show up to someone's house, you're not supposed to show up asking them for a drink. You're supposed to show up with liquor in hand. I want to give a big ups to everybody that showed up to my new crib with liquor or a candle or something in hand, just to basically say, listen, I see what you're doing. I appreciate where you're going. And you didn't come here begging, talking about you ain't got a drink to offer me. A big F you to the girl that showed up here asking me, oh, you don't have a drink for me? You don't know how to service a woman. I had just moved into my place. When somebody moves into their apartment, aren't you supposed to like, hey, here's a housewarming gift? Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm misled. Maybe I don't understand, how to treat somebody. Maybe it's your man, Mr. Direct, seriously. And I'll admit, it's possibly me. It's possibly your man, Mr. Direct, that does it the wrong way. But I'm not going to go there because, they always say you should take the high road. I don't know if I should take the high road because I'm one of those people. I believe I should say whatever the hell I want, whenever the hell I want, however the hell I want. It's what I do. It's what I do. Big ups to Anne-Marie Martinez. I know she's watching somewhere. My friend Michelle Nass. I know a lot of you guys. I don't understand why you guys can't find your way over to Mr. Direct Just Real. You guys can find your way to Markland Scotch Plains, Markland Tyrone Johnson, Mark T. Johnson, but you can't find your way to Mr. Direct Just Real. That's where you need to be. Why? Because if you're there, that's where you get to see everything I'm about to do. That's where you get to experience it all. That's where you get to be part of what's going on. And that's what I'm doing right now, making sure I tag people. It's just me, your man, Mr. Direct, today, doing what I do best, giving you just a little bit of real talk. And when I do that, when I give you the real talk, I give it to you the only way I know how. I give it to you just the way I can. Sometimes I think I'm repeating myself. I don't care if I'm repeating myself. It's what I do. But I want you guys to know that this is all, you guys are a part of all this. Don't feel like, hey, I got to sit here and watch him and just, I gotta, feel like that. I don't want y'all to feel like that. I want y'all to know that you're definitely part of what I'm doing. I want y'all to feel like, you know what? I'm part of that. I'm definitely part of that. I want to experience it. I want to see what it's all about. Because when you feel like you're part of the experience, then you're going to feel like, hey, I can share my opinion. He's not judging me. I can say what I want. He's not judging me. By the way, guest calling line 347-205-9571. I'm here to listen. We're going to talk about a lot of things. I wanted to talk about a lot of the crazy theories that people have that have been debunked. These theories have been debunked, and I don't know if people really want to say that these are still going on and it can still happen. Number one, when Obama was coming into office, they was like, oh my God, he's going to issue martial law. I used to see this all up and down Facebook. He's going to issue martial law, and he's going to do martial law so that he could take over and take all of our guns. Hasn't happened, people. Hasn't happened. You still have your guns. Matter of fact, you have more guns, and you can carry your guns more places underneath Obama. I mean, let's be honest here. I get it. A lot of you guys are scared. You're like, oh, my God, what's going to happen? He's going to take our guns, and he's going to do everything to bring in Sharia law. Sharia law doesn't go with our Constitution. And you need 2/3 of Congress, and you need 3/4 of the states in order to ratify the Constitution. I don't see Congress ratifying the Constitution anytime soon, and I don't see 3/4 of the United States of the states doing that. So where do you guys get that a president has this type of power? I don't get. Can one of you guys call in? I'm telling you, I don't care if you disagree with me. A lot of you guys are like, I don't want to disagree with him. You could disagree with me, or are you scared to disagree with me? Are you scared that I can debunk your fake facts? It's real people, real conversation. It's always real talk. One of the things I also wanted to talk about, when the ACA came on, and when the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, came in, they called it Obamacare, the first thing that you used to see was they were going to implant microchips in people. And then they would say, I saw somebody the other day say, I'm not going to have the mark of the beast on me. Technically, the mark of the beast is tattoos, and a lot of you people have tattoos. A lot of you people that hate Obama, that are so-called Christians, you got tattoos. That supposedly is the mark of the beast, that you've marked yourself. You've done things to yourself that God would not want you to do. So what are you talking about? Microchips. Every year, it keeps going. Hey, in 2014, they're going to microchip you. In 2015, they're going to microchip you. It's 2016, they haven't microchipped you. It's 2016, and there's no Sharia law. It's 2016, you still have your guns. Now you're taking the guns away from Obama, and you're putting it on Hillary Clinton. So if Clinton doesn't take your guns, who's the next person that you're going to accuse of taking your guns? Don't you think at some point we need to step back, and we need to stop, and we need to stop saying, oh, everybody's trying to take our guns? Don't you think at some point you need to say, you know what? Maybe I need to think about this again. Maybe I need to think about the fact that they're not really coming for my guns. Maybe I need to think about the fact that really I'm making this all. I'm just saying, maybe you need to think that, hey, it could be that you're making this all up in your mind. I'm just saying, you don't have to agree with me. I'm not telling you to agree with me. I'm not going to tell you to say and do what I do. What I'm saying to you is, let's just think about that. And I'm going to the Scotch Plains Neighbors group, and I'm going to say, join me live. You know what I'm saying? For some real talk. That's it. Join me live for some real talk. That's it. A lot of people are going to be scared, like, oh, I can't do that. Yes, you can. It's simple. All you got to do is just say, you know what? I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to be part of it. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, which I thought it was so good, right? It's like, let's talk about the conspiracy theories around the election, because I think a lot of people are not being honest with themselves about the conspiracy theory about the election. Now, first of all, they say Donald Trump is a plant for the Democrats. It could be a possibility, because he's done a real good job of making Hillary Clinton, and I'm no fan of Hillary Clinton's, but he's made Hillary Clinton look a lot more sane. He's made Hillary Clinton look a lot more feasible to being part of this. I'm just saying, you guys want to think about that. Do you really want to have somebody in office who speaks the way Donald Trump does. I mean, I'm going with the conspiracy, so I just want to say maybe he is a plant. Now, the WikiLeaks information came out, and it said basically that the Clintons helped undermine the election on the Republican side so that they could somehow push Trump to the top. Now, maybe that's the conspiracy that you guys are talking about, because they felt that Trump was such a idiot and Trump was so easily, hey, we could beat this chump. There's no way this chump could take us out. Maybe, just maybe, I'm saying you could be right. There's a possibility you could be right. The other one is President Obama is going to cancel the election. Now, I don't understand how people think that President Obama is going to, just cancel the election out of hey, I'm going to cancel the election. I have no other purpose in life. I want to be president forever. And I kind of, in my mind, it's, why do you think somebody wants to be president for the rest of their lives, like be a king? And that's one of the things that really upsets me. So many people are like, oh, it's King Obama. So why is it that it's King Obama? Why are you guys pressing the issue that it's Obama who is doing everything in his power to stay in charge? If you want to look at the people that stay in charge, it's Congress. Congress does not ever let go. Congress people stay in there for life. Think about that. Congress people stay in for life. Where do they go? They go nowhere. That's what they do for the rest of their lives. All they do is stay in. This is why they're talking term limits. This is why they're saying we need to create term limits. How can a man that's been in Congress or a woman that's been in Congress for 30 plus years serve a purpose for you? They no longer care because their service is whoever. They have more influence for being in there for 30 years. So a big company can come along and say to them, guess what? If I slide you $500,000, if I make sure your kids go to the right school, your grandkids go to the right school, your kids never have to work. When your kids are ready to work, they come work for my company. How about you make this law pass? How about you take care of this? You get more influence at the, congressional level, and you get more influence at the Senate level. The president's a puppet. And I don't understand how people don't get this. I don't understand how people don't understand that, yes, the president is a puppet. The president is not the man in charge the way everybody's making him seem to be in charge. Yes, he has influence. Yes, the president can say, hey, I would like to see this. Hey, I would like to see that. But the president's a puppet. Is it that people just don't want to accept that? Is it the fact that people really don't want to grab into this idea that the president is a puppet? There's people higher in the hierarchy or whatever the word is, I'm sorry, for being president. It's not just, you can't complain and say it's all the president's fault. And that's what, it's funny that that's what these elections do. People come out and start saying he's going to do this and he's going to do that. Do you realize hardly any president accomplishes 60% of what they tell you they're going to do? Because listen, the first year and a half of any presidency is the policies of the previous president. Think about that. You're elected for 4 years. The first year and a half, you're still on the previous president's budget. You're still going through his policies. So you got to wait that out just to get to where you want to be at. And then when you get out of that, then all of a sudden it's, okay, now we need to step up. Now we need to do what we can do. And now you got to hope that you've got a Congress that wants to work with you. President Obama had his own Congress for 2 years. So basically for 6 months, of those 2 years, he could actually create policy because the first year and a half was previous administration policy. So for 6 months, he really could do some damage. He gave us the Affordable Care Act. I don't like the Affordable Care. I like it, but I don't like it. It's a love-hate. The thing about the Affordable Care Act that I have to say that is not great for everyone is the fact that the Affordable Care Act, number one, next year it's going to go up. It's going to double for some people, almost like a 25% increase. That's a lot. Two, I think it's a segue for single payer buy-in, which I think would be great for everyone. But I think people are going to be hurting. It's a chess game. They're playing, Obama was playing chess The idiots at the helm of the Republicans were playing checkers. That happens. Sometimes you outwit it, and some people don't want to be. Listen, some people don't want to admit they were outwitted by an intelligent black man. Period. I didn't take my shot real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Let me take this shot real quick. Hold on for 1 second. Let me just do this, and while I'm doing that, let me do this for you guys because you guys have been so good to me. You guys are really good to me. You guys are really good to your man, Mr. Direct. Let me do this for you, and I'll be back in a moment. And we're back. We're back. I had to give you that quick little bump real quick. Let you guys see that quick little bump. Yeah, I got bumps all over the place, baby. I got bumps all over the place. You ain't know about that. No, not like that. I'll take care of myself. The guest calling line, once again, is 347-205-9571. If you guys want to call in, be part of the show, do what you got to do. Call in. If not, you're going to sit here and listen to your man, Mr. Direct. Just go on and on and on. Now, like I told you, the basics of what I want to do on this show is I want to talk about the 5 reasons why we should why you think Donald Trump will win, and the 5 reasons why we think Hillary Clinton's going to win. And then we're going to talk about some other stuff if I have enough time. Listen, I could talk all day. I don't care. It's what I love to do. But I really want your opinion. So if you see the guest calling number up there, if you get a chance, call in. So I really wanted to, let's first I wanted to move over here real quick and let's talk about the 5 reasons why Donald Trump. Let's talk about that. The 5 reasons why Donald Trump, and it's such a smug look on his face. Look at the look on his face. Such a smug look. The guest calling line, 347-205-9571. First of all, Brexit. I want you, and see, Brexit serves as a reason for Hillary, and it also serves as a reason for Donald. I want you guys to understand that. Brexit serves as a reason for Hillary, and it serves as a reason for Donald. And if you don't know what Brexit is, Brexit was a campaign, it was a campaign idea that was going on, and I'm not going to give you the full details because, listen, I'm not going to act like I was an expert. But basically, Brexit itself, Brexit was one of these things that happened that people were not expecting to happen. And what it was is, all they basically said is you're going to break away from the European situation, the group. It was like a union over there, the EU. European conglomerate, whatever the hell you want to call it. Sue me for not having the exact termination or terms or whatever it is for it. Anyway, they decided to break free from it. They decided not to be part of it. So since they decided not to be part of it, what happened next was that a lot of these people were uninformed. A lot of these people didn't even know what they were electing. So because they didn't know what they were electing, they just went ahead and said, yes, we're for this. And then all hell and chaos broke out. That's what happened with Brexit. Now, the thing about Trump, and I want to share this with you guys real quick. The thing about Trump that a lot of people are ignoring, and this is a big, this is a really huge thing. Trump is going to focus much of his attention on the 4 blue states in the Rust Belt of the upper Great Lakes: Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. The 4 traditionally Democratic states, but each of them have elected a Republican governor since 2010. Only Pennsylvania has now officially elected a Democrat. In the Michigan primary, though, there was more Republican voters for the Republicans. There was more Republican voters than there was Democratic voters. 1.32 versus 1.19. By hammering home how NAFTA has helped destroy the industrial states in the upper Midwest, Trump could swing these states. Now, only thing that you ever hear all the time is these swing states. Florida is considered a swing state. I mean, not really, but it is. And it's a close call down there. Ohio's considered a swing state. They're neck and neck there. If you look at the Rasmussen poll or whatever the hell they call it, I keep messing up names. I'm sorry. It is what it is. This is your man, Mr. Direct. I do what I do. I keep it real talk for you. But anyway, the point being is when you look at those polls, it turns out that they're kind of dead heat. And it doesn't look like Donald Trump has spent as much money as Hillary Clinton. So could we really look at this and say, listen, Trump could come in and swing it on a state? He really could. Trump could come in and really do damage. And I think he could catch people off guard because here's what he's hoping. I think Donald Trump really hopes that he's disparaged so many people and put off so many people that a lot of people will refuse to vote. That a lot of people will say, I'm not coming out. Because let's face it, Democrats really only come out for the main election. They don't really come out for the primaries. They don't really come out for the midterms, but they come out for the main. But if he's disparaged so many people that they don't like him, they don't like Hillary, this could be big. It could be big. And if somehow he could manage to simply, create this bubble of, hey, listen, you might not like her, but me, like what they did in Brexit. You didn't like her, but maybe you're going to like me. Maybe you need to take a look at me. Maybe you need to decide that we don't want government the way it is anymore. Maybe we don't want the status quo. That could be a reason why he could win, because a lot of people are fed up. A lot of people are done. A lot of people are like, screw you. I don't want to deal with you. By the way, there was a gentleman the other day that said, I caught your podcast and it was so funny. You only had 6 watchers. I want to thank him because people like him keep me going. I've only got 4 viewers. I only got 5 viewers. When you love what you do, you just keep it moving. I wanted to say that because it seems like everybody wants to take a dig at you when you're doing what you do because they're so miserable in your life. I'm not miserable in my life. I love what I do. I do real talk. And these are all cowards. You offer them the opportunity to come on the show. Oh, you're not Howard Stern. Oh, you're not this guy or you're not that guy. So they don't want to come on the show. As if Howard Stern or any of them really would let them through and let them share their opinion. You can share your opinion on my show. You don't have to agree with me. You really don't. Are you willing to debate the facts? Are you willing to have an intellectual discussion without trying to insult people or trying to belittle people, especially people of color, acting like they don't know what's going on? That's what you need to think about. I just wanted to say that real quick. Big ups to everybody that wants to be part of this. It's big. So another thing we want to look at when we talk about Trump, and, I think a lot of people are not really being honest with themselves. The biggest problem, by the way, I got most of this information from michaelmoore.com. Now, it's not the fact that I'm a big fan of Michael Moore. It's that his article made a lot of sense. The next one is the biggest problem here isn't Trump. It's Hillary. She's hugely unpopular. Nearly 70% of all voters think she is untrustworthy and dishonest. Now, I want you to think about that. If you're voting for the first time, if you're voting for the second time, if you're voting in general just to, hey, I want to vote, I want my voice to be heard, all of a sudden you're finding out that Hillary's untrustworthy. Do you really want to vote for someone who you feel is untrustworthy, not worth bringing in? And that's something that you got to, that's something that people don't think about. She represents the old way of politics, not really believing in anything other than what she can get elected. That's why, 1 minute she's against gay marriage, the next minute she's officiating a gay marriage. Is that somebody that you necessarily want, in office, that they're going to tell you whatever they got to tell you to get in? A lot of people say they don't mind this, but do you not? I do. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want someone who's going to flip-flop and tell me whatever they got to tell me just to get in. I don't abide by it. I'm not going to abide by it because that's not who I am. If you say you're going to sell me a steak, sell me a steak. Don't tell me you're going to sell me a steak and then turn around and say, well, it's actually a vegetarian steak. You know what I think a steak is. You know what I want as a steak. So why are you trying to fool me and give me some fake crap that's not a steak? And that's the problem we have with the Hillary Clinton aspect. She's not who she says she is. She comes on stage, she's a robot. She's kind of rehearsed. It doesn't sound like she really knows. And the thing is, I saw something again, and I'm not saying it's legitimate, but I'm addressing it because this is one of the things that Trump voters love. It's that Trump is off the cuff. He's not scripted. He's saying whatever he's got to say, and he's saying it from the heart. And these people are so frustrated that they feel it's refreshing. Yes, here's a man speaking from his heart. Here's a man saying what I wanted to say. Here's a man saying exactly how I felt. I relate to him. I know what he's talking about. So why wouldn't I vote for him? Why wouldn't I put my vote through with him. That's what a lot of people are saying. And if we don't pay attention to that, if we don't pay attention to, we need to usher out these politicians that just tell us whatever just to make us feel good. I don't want to feel good while you're ripping me off. You know, on my weekend jobs, sometimes I see people going in and buying cars. And when I see them buying cars, it looks like they're selling their life away, like they sold their soul to the devil. And that's how a lot of these politicians make you feel. I have to sell my soul to the devil in order to say that I exercised my right to vote. Is that what we're about in this country? Selling our souls to the devil? Is that who we are? Is that what we want to say represents what we feel about this country? I want you guys to think about that for a second, because I think a lot of people are like, oh yeah, it doesn't make sense. I really think a lot of people are so disenfranchised. They just don't like it. They're disheartened with the political system. I send you into office and you're not going to represent me. You're not going to represent my biggest issues. You're not going to represent the things that I need to see done. And you're going to vote against me because what I want to see done, you don't care. And let's face it, when somebody doesn't care, you don't want to care. It's sad, but it's so true. And then you say, well, if they don't care, why should I care? My voice should go to whoever it goes to. I shouldn't have to worry about this. I shouldn't have to worry about, voting. And I think listen, I'm speaking about why he's going to win, but I think that's one of the reasons why he's going to win, because he disenfranchised so many people. So I don't want to vote. I don't like Trump. I don't like Hillary. I don't like any of these idiots. I just, I want it over with. I just don't care anymore. Can we please just get rid of these people and just, everyone, so many people I see and they're like, listen, I'll be honest with you. I hope and pray that the candidates in 2020 are just a lot better than the candidates we have now. And that's all I keep hearing. Like, I can't wait till 2020. Okay, well, forget 2020. It's 2016. Think about that. It's 2016. Is there something that we can do? Is there a write-in? I see a lot of Cruz people saying they're going to write in. Is it plausible? Listen, I'm not telling you yes. I'm not telling you no. I'm saying, is it plausible? Is it plausible that enough people will write in somebody? Enough people will write in somebody and say, you know what? We can make this happen. Let's write in a few people and see what we can do. Let's write in a few people and see what we can make happen. Now, this next one I'm going to show you is going to piss a lot of people off. I don't care. I have to keep it real talk. I have to give it to you guys real talk. I have to. If you don't like it, you can go kiss my ass. I don't care. It's the angry white guy. That's right. The angry white man. Electing President Obama has pissed off a lot of those who feel that this country was meant to be for whites only. This is a fact. I don't care if you disagree. If you disagree with me, listen, there's a guest calling number. You can call in. You can share your opinion. I'm okay with that. I have no problem with that whatsoever. My point to you is there's a lot of people that are very angry and very upset. And listen, I've told my friends this before and they think I'm joking. I've said this to my friends before and they think I'm messing with them. Our male-dominated 240-year run of the USA has come to an end. A woman is about to take over. How did this happen on our watch is what a lot of these machismo, hate to use that, machismo, but a lot of these people are, how did this happen? There were warning signs, but we ignored them. Nixon, the gender traitor, imposing Title IX on us, the rule that said girls in schools should get an equal chance at playing sports. Then they let them fly commercial jets. Before we knew it, Beyonce stormed on the fields at this year's Super Bowl. That's our game. That's our game. With an army of black women, fists raised, declaring that our domination was hereby terminated. Oh, the humanity. Now, this is on Michael Moore's page, okay? You could go to it, michaelmoore.com/Trump will win. If you think I'm making this up, I will show you the quote in 2 seconds. But this is the quote for you guys so you can see I'm not making this up. This is a quote off the Michael Moore page. But let's talk about that for a second, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about that. I've had this conversation with many people, and it seems like some people just ignore it. Some people just don't want to be part of it. Some people don't want to actually admit that that's the truth. But that's the sad truth that we live in. That's the sad truth that it's at right now. We're at a point right now where people literally don't care. They're angry because this is not their country anymore. They're angry because, listen, I believe that America was always going to have a white guy telling us good or bad. It's always like, if I want to be robbed, I'd rather be robbed by somebody that looks like me versus a stranger. If I'm going to be, led amok, led astray, whatever you want to call it, I'd rather be a stranger. Because if it's not a stranger and it's somebody I know, if it's not somebody I know and if it's a stranger, I'm screwed. You know what I mean? I'm screwed. Why? Why are we so scared of change, ladies and gentlemen? Why are we so scared that this country is not going to be the way it's supposed to be anymore? Why are we so scared that this country can't, have a person of color? Why it can't be a woman? I often say on the Mr. Direct Just Real page, Mark Scotch Plains page, Mark Tyrone Johnson, that we have a lot of closet racism. A lot of racism is ingrained in us, and I don't care who you are, okay? Black, white, whoever you are. A lot of our racist beliefs are ingrained in us. And when I say that, people get offended. But here's the point. You don't want to accept a black person telling you the truth of this country, good or bad. He doesn't know what he's talking about. She doesn't know what he's talking about. You don't want to accept a woman telling you what it's about. We live in the greatest country in the world, okay? I want you guys to get that in your head. We live in the great, where else can a man of color like me, I want you to think about that, okay? Where else can a man of color like me get on the airwaves and share his opinion and not worry about dying? And I'm about to kill somebody because this thing is not working. There it is. There it is. Sorry about that. I had to take a quick break. But you still see me. It's your man, Mr. Direct, doing what he does best. But where can a man like me come here, get on air, okay, and share his opinion openly and not worry about the government coming in and, killing me and taking me out because I don't agree with them? Think about that. I don't think a lot of people understand that. And when they talk about how bad it's, here's the thing that cures me about Donald Trump. And when we talk about the angry white guy syndrome, Donald Trump uses fear, and these fear tactics kind of live off this ignorance that people think that we're only supposed to be great all the time. We can't have any downtime. What the hell was the original depression in the 20s? What was that? It was a downtime. We'd been growing so much and growing and growing and growing, and then shit dropped. Happened in the 70s. It happens so often. In everyone's lifetime, they see a period of time where we just don't have it. But there's this belief that we're not allowed to have downtime. There's this belief that we're not allowed to not be constantly, I hate the expression, we're not winning. And America needs the win again. Okay, but we're not winning. It's not because you have a black president. We're not winning because you've got a bunch of greedy people in corporate America that don't want to reinvest in corporate America. And it's amazing how many people miss that. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. I'm not telling you anything that you can't look up. When we were growing as a nation, okay, a CEO might have made $150,000, and then one of the people underneath him might have made 25, 50, tops 75. There wasn't a big difference between unless you were like a hardcore owner and if you were a worker. Usually the owner started on the bottom and worked his way up. And now there are so many people that are clueless because they are no longer people that work at entry-level jobs. These are people that go out and, I got my master's, so I know what to do. Very seldomly do books cross over to actuality. Things would work this way, but they'll work this way if you take away human interaction and just do everything by the book. But human interaction changes things that work according to the book. Now, you could say a lot of things change, and you could say a lot of things don't have to change. I'll give you, for instance, before we were talking about NAFTA. Now, when we were talking about NAFTA, I want you guys to think about NAFTA. NAFTA was a North American Treaty FA organization, whatever the hell it is. Listen, I told you guys I'm not good with terms all the time, and I didn't take the time to write it in front of me. I didn't memorize it. That's why I call it real talk. I'm being real with you guys right now. I'm just being completely honest with you about my knowledge and what I know about it. But I've heard of it. I've read up on it a little bit. I get what it is. Okay, let's get something. It was the North American Fair Trades Agreement. I know that. See, it came to me eventually. You got to give your man, Mr. Direct, a few minutes, but it'll come through. That was about opening the borders so that we could trade evenly with countries. And what happened was the cost of doing business here in America with taxes and having to pay living wages, people, living wages, okay? Plus put out a good product became too expensive for American capitalist companies. Here in America, I have to pay you $10 one year, $12 the next year. I have to make sure that you have cost of living increase. I have to make sure that you can eat by the wage that I pay you. I can go overseas to these countries where people are begging for $2 an hour. And I can work them like slaves because they're so broke that they're willing to do this. I want you to think about that. I want you to think about that. How often can you do that? How often can you really think about that? A lot of people are mistaken. By the way, the guest calling line again is 347-205. If you've got an opinion, feel free to call back. Well, not call back in, but feel free to call in. I know Cheryl Davis said that she was going to call in, but it doesn't look like she's going to. People always tell me, Mr. Direct, I'm going to call in, and then they don't call in because people, I don't know what to say. You have a conversation with your man, Mr. Direct. That's what you say. We have a conversation. But anyway, so I want you to think about that for a second, right? Think about that for 2 seconds. So now they're blaming the taxation on these companies. But then when we give them a tax break, they still invest in other countries. They take their money and invest overseas. So is it really a tax issue or is it a greed issue? I want you to think about that. When we talk about, and we're angry, and the angry white voter, the angry white male voter who thinks that this country is no longer his, he's not being rational. Why do you expect this to be 1950 forever? Why do you expect people of color not to get an education the way that you guys can get an education? Why do you not expect them to be able to figure out how the system works and work the system the same way as you? What's wrong with that? You know, so many people want to say, oh, you know, Obama introduced racism to us. Really? So you think Obama introduced racism to us again? That racism was gone away, that one man just threw racism in there. And I'm sorry to tell you this, but that's just false. It's highly false. And I'm telling you it's false because one man cannot introduce racism into the game. What you can do is what pisses off a lot of people. I'm sorry. A lot of white people get pissed off that they don't like people of color talking about the race issue. It's okay when they talk about it. It's okay when they talk about it amongst their friends who might think the way they think about the issue. But they don't want to have that conversation of race coming from us because automatically we're racist. Do you know how many times I've been called racist because I talk about race openly? Well, you're racist because you talk about race. So you're not racist, but I'm racist. In order for you to say you're not racist, it means you have to believe that a black person can truly have the same opportunity and chance as you do. And you don't subscribe to the fact that black people are just less than you. I don't subscribe to any white person being less than me, but I'm a realist. I understand the world that I live in. And I understand for 240 plus years, all the presidents have been white males. And when they spoke about racism, they spoke about racism from whose perspective? They spoke about racism from the perspective of a white person. There's not the emotion, there's not the emotional connection behind it. There's not the, the hurt, the pain, the anguish, because they haven't experienced it. Now you have a man in office that every time something that might be, and let's face it, the media pushes this. The media pushes this. But every time something happens and it's in the black community and it happens with a white officer or it happens in general, hey, let's ask the first black president what he thinks. Then all of a sudden, the white guy or the white woman, I'm not racist, but why has Obama got to relate to them? Why has he got to say if it was his son? Isn't that what you guys say when a veteran's killed? That could have been my brother. That could have been my son. That could have. So what's wrong with the president? Well, he should have waited till why can't the president? Well, he's not the president of black people. He's the president of all people. Okay. But then you throw it into our faces and say, what has President Obama done for the black Americans? That's why I should vote for Trump. This is what I mean by when you are angry, you're illogical. And these are the guys that are voting for Trump. They're no longer using logic. They're using illogic, a lot of them. And I'm not begrudging them. It's hard to accept things when things are not what you're used to. When my dad died, it's hard to accept walking into a home and one day the man that raised you and fed you and did everything for you is gone and never coming back. That's how I can equate it. It's a change. And when you've been fed this information that black people are not as smart, we can run faster, we could jump higher, but we're not as smart as you. And then you see a black man get into the highest office impossible. And let's face it, we're all a little prejudiced. I remember when I was younger and Indians had just started moving into our area. And I started making fun of them. Oh my God. And listen. Yes, that was me being prejudiced. But I'm still open to meeting people and I'm open to meeting their experiences. Why? Because I know what it's like to have somebody hate me just because I'm black. The angry white man is a problem, but it's not really a problem for Trump. He's leading in the poll with white men. I mean, you want to deny that fact, but that's like his biggest guarantee is white men. And I'm not listen, I've got friends that I love them to death. I break bread with them. I drink with them. I hang out with them. But what do? They're Trump voters. Okay. My one friend, Nick, I'm not going to say his last name, but my one friend, Nick, said, I would vote for whoever wasn't not a politician. That's why he loves Trump. Technically, he's not white, but I mean, he's still white. But listen, my point is, he is angry. And he's not angry like, fuck everyone and blah, blah, blah. But he's angry. So should I say, screw you, Nick? You don't know what you're talking about? What you're saying makes no sense? No. What he says makes every sense to him. So I get why some people vote. It's something to think about. It's really something to think about. The next thing we want to think about is, and I think a lot of people still don't want to say this. They don't want to say it. The next thing you got to think about is you got to think about Bernie Sanders and how Bernie Sanders factors into this. Now, the thing about Bernie that I think a lot of people don't want to, kind of come into grips with is that Bernie is, Bernie represents the depressed voter, okay? Because when you're young, you have zero tolerance for phonies and BS. Returning to the Clinton-Bush era for them is like suddenly having to pay for music or using MySpace or carrying around one of those big-ass portable phones. They're not going to vote for Trump. Some will vote third party, but many will just stay home. Hillary Clinton is going to have to do something to give them reason to support her. And picking a moderate, bland, old, middle-of-the-road, old white guy as their running mate is not the kind of edgy move that tells millennials that their vote is important to Hillary. Having two women on the ticket, that was an exciting idea, but then Hillary got scared and decided to play it safe. This is just one example of how she's willing to kill the youth vote. Hillary doesn't, go for the youth vote. She doesn't by any means. So she's going to have a hard time taking in a lot of the Bernie voters. And a lot of the Bernie listen, a lot of the Bernie voters are going to vote Trump. Not a lot. I would say like maybe 10% of the Bernie voters are going to go over. Maybe. I would say maybe about roughly 10% if we're lucky. I'm not going to guarantee it. There's no guarantee. There's never a guarantee. But that could be a big number. That could sway the vote. Once again, these aren't my views. If you guys go over to michaelmoore.com/Trump will win, you'll see this information. So don't sit there and get mad at me. Don't kill the messenger. Don't sit there and be like, what are you talking about? You're an idiot. I'm telling you that these are real, actual opinions that people have. People are really upset. And when you have people that are upset, people will immediately make sometimes irrational choices. They really will. They really will. What's going on, Mike? Mike Gamehead Smith Sr.? What's going on, Grady Woody? I appreciate that, man. It's good to see you guys on. Good to see you guys here. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all online. It's nice to see you guys here. Nice to guys see you part of this whole Real Talk movement. I appreciate that. It's nice to know that you guys are here. You hear my voice. I like to know that people actually are getting something out of what I'm saying. I wish you guys would call in and have this conversation with me, man. And listen, y'all don't want to hear me the whole entire time. Y'all want to be part of this. I know you do. No, I don't want to be part of this. Nah, man, just keep talking. Okay, well, then I'm just going to keep talking. But I really want you guys to think about that. Think about the fact how many people feel like after you read the WikiLeaks emails that, they just threw Bernie underneath. And, these Bernie voters, they don't want to be cheated. They don't want to put up with bullshit. They're angry, man. And they're angry enough that they're saying, I'm willing to stick it to your ass. Oh, you want to do some crazy shit like that? I'm going to stick it to you. I don't care. You need to think about that. It's not hard to imagine. It's really not. But I think a lot of people just don't put it in their head, and a lot of people don't think about these things. A lot of people are so twisted, and so they don't think about the way that they're interacting with people, and they don't think about, sure, Donald Trump has pissed off a lot of people, but pissing off people alone won't save Hillary. Let's be real. Donald Trump has pissed off a lot. Oh, I didn't mean that to happen. That just came up out of nowhere. But a lot of people are not realizing, listen, just because somebody's pissed off doesn't mean that they're always going to do the right thing that you might want them to do. It's something to think about. It's really something to think about. Hey, we're going to be back in a moment. It's your man, Mr. Direct, doing what he does best. When we come back, we're going to talk about the 5 reasons why Hillary might win. The 5 reasons why Hillary might win. We'll be back in a moment. Don't you go nowhere. Listen, don't go nowhere. It's your man, Mr. Direct, doing what he does best. Giving you a little bit of real talk. Did you hear it? Did you hear my voice? I thought you did. We'll be back in a moment. I like messing with you guys. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go nowhere. It's your man. It's what we do. We're going to be back in a moment. Don't go nowhere. Coming out of the break, man, listen, what we want to talk about now is The 5 reasons why Hillary Clinton, and it might be just the reasons why Hillary Clinton might win. These are specific reasons why Hillary Clinton might win. And this is some information that you guys might want to just pull in and just say, okay, this totally makes sense. I'm with it. You might disagree with me. I don't care. If you disagree with me, just understand this is what a lot of people are talking about. This is what a lot of people are thinking. I just want you to understand. This is what's going through people's head. I don't want you being like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm just letting you know. This is what a lot of people are saying. This is how a lot of people feel. So listen, let's just jump right into it real quick. Let's get into it. First of all, let's talk about the Brexit. Okay, we're going to talk about Brexit again. In case you guys weren't aware, I'm going to give you guys, let me give you the Brexit first. First of all, Brexit, there you go. Brexit was the exit. So now I'm going to talk to you about the explanation of Brexit. Thanks to the disastrous Brexit vote, we will have a glaring example of what can happen when people take their voting responsibility lightly. I know from decades of watching sports that no good coach wants the team going into the big game overconfident. And I can tell you that Hillary Rodham Clinton herself, that she rather welcomes her recent slide in the polls. She rather welcomes the fact that she slid, so now she could really concentrate and make it happen. The emails that people get about, from her campaign daily have been riding in polling slumps, and it's all worth it. And it's going, to guess, it's going to help her get funding. Raising her numbers is what she's trying to do. And when you go down in polls, people start seeming alarmed. People start thinking, oh man, she's down in the polls, I got to get out. And this was an article pulled from the 5 reasons why Hillary will win from the dailycause.com, www.dailycause.com/story/9/4/9 Damn it, that was a mouthful. How the hell did I ever manage that? But, I want you guys to realize a little bit of something about that. I want you guys to realize kind of, get a taste of it and get an idea of what I'm saying. You don't want to be too confident. You don't. And as long as she doesn't, like everybody, she's too calm. She's too collective. Hillary Clinton's been in this election before. She's been in the election process before. This is not new to her. And that's what a lot of people are forgetting. Hillary's not new to the game. Hillary's been here before. Hillary knows what's going. It's Hillary. Come on now, people. Hillary knows what she's doing. And you got to understand that because she knows what she's doing, she knows that this is, listen, what do they always say? This is a marathon. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Now, these next 2 weeks is going to be a sprint to the end, but still, Hillary's got to be calm, cool, and collective. And listen, ever since these allegations came out about Trump, he's been on the warpath. I'm going to sue all of them. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to shut these bitches down. I mean, he's been on a straight warpath. Now, is this somebody that you want? I mean, let's be real. Is this somebody that you want? Is this who you want for your elected official? You want somebody who's acting like a maniac? Somebody who's acting like they don't have any common sense? Somebody who's acting like they don't have any type of whatsoever respect? I don't know. I don't know if that's, I can't tell you if I would vote for someone like that. I wouldn't. Be real with you. I wouldn't. But if she takes her time and gradually gets there, Hillary can do a whole lot of good. And it's going to throw people off because people are like, yo, did she really just pull this off? Now, I want you guys to think about something else. In 2008, she ran against Barack Obama. And she learned some lessons from Barack Obama, so much so that those people that helped Barack Obama in his campaign are now on her campaign. Think about that. It's kind of like the Kevin Durant, Golden State Warriors, and Oklahoma Thunder. situation. You get beat. So now that you got beat, you got to recruit the guy from the team that beat you. Except for it was a reverse, but you get what I'm saying. She lost. She went out and got the best guys and said, listen, how are we going to do this? And they were talking about she's not out in the field. She's not campaigning. She's not out doing big time events. And look at all these numbers Trump is doing. Yeah, but there's a lot to be said for groundwork. There's a lot to be said for people that are really like putting in that groundwork, people that are really putting in the effort, people that are really saying, listen, I'm going to make a phone call. I'm going to call for you, baby. I'm going to call for you. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to get it in for you. There's a lot to be said for that. And I think people keep forgetting that. This is a marathon, not a sprint. If I got people calling for me, if I've got people knocking on doors, if I got people having conversations, if every day people are in the news talking about Donald Trump and all the craziness, making fun of veterans, making fun of people with disabilities, speaking down to the African American community, speaking down about Latinos. What do you think that's doing? And it's in the news every day. And Donald Trump voters don't care. It's okay. Oh, you took it out of context. You don't know what I mean. But are you telling me as an African American I took it out of context? I want you to think about that. You're telling me as an African American I took that out of context. No, maybe you just don't understand that certain things said, it's not about being politically correct. It's having respect. Politically correct isn't, not saying racist shit in front of me and then going to your friend and saying the most racist shit you could think of. That's not politically correct. That's being a damn right closet racist. Politically correct isn't, in front of women saying, I believe in equal rights and, I believe in equal rights, and then going back behind her back and saying, F that, I'll never hire a woman for shit. A woman can't do a man's job. That's not politically correct. That's just being a straight up sexist. You can't even make that up. You can't. You can't. People always talk about, it's funny how people have never talked about Donald Trump being a racist until he ran for office. Wrong. The Department of Justice brought him up on charges for discrimination and renting twice because the first time that they settled with him, his dumbass violated that settlement. Do people really not understand that people get this? Is it that people just don't want to, I'm asking people out there, and I'm not saying this in defense of Hillary, and I know people are going to say, oh, you're defending Hillary. I'm not really defending Hillary. I'm trying to understand the logical reasoning of what goes on in people's heads. Because you can't explain to me possibly that you don't get that the shit that he says is offensive. I'm not saying Hillary Clinton is a good person to vote for. Okay? I'm not saying that because I'm telling you, I'll vote for me sooner. The pimp Playboy Leroy. We're going to give every man a hoe and a Dax discount for that hoe. We'll talk about that later, though. That's another story. But, seriously, are you not able to comprehend that just because you're not offended, that doesn't mean that, he's offended because it wasn't politically correct. No, we're offended because what he said is just offensive. Okay? Politically correct is trying to find the right way to say black. That's politically correct. Okay? That's political correctness. Political correctness is trying to find a good way to call a girl or a man a whore. But you don't want to use the word whore, so you're trying to find the right way to say it. That's political correctness. So this whole crap from Donald Trump talking about, I'm sick and tired of the political correctness thing, no. Let's be honest with you. What it is, if you want to be racist, if you want to hate on people, go ahead and do it openly. Look how many times we've seen articles about people saying, your man's time is up or your time is up, nigger. How many times have I read articles? How many times have I gone in threads and people have said this openly? Your time is up. It's not your time anymore. You're done. That's it. You're done. This ain't your time anymore. You're done. Goodbye. Time for you to say goodbye because we're going to get back in office. Once again, it goes back to the angry white male voter. I just want you guys to think about that. It's something to be said for that. A lot of you guys are not thinking about that. You're like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. I'm just telling you, these are facts. And the next thing we want to talk about is competency. Let's think about competency for a second. When we talk about competency, we talk about the skills, the abilities, and the knowledge. That's competency. Skills, ability, and knowledge. That's what they talk about in competency. And once again, when we think about that, we think about the competency factor. The voters not only find Hillary qualified, 60% of the people, and what makes it crazy is 60% of the people don't trust the bitch. I mean, let's be real. 60% of the people don't trust her, but 60% of the people say she's the most qualified in the history of this country. So I want you guys to think about that as a whole. Think about that. 60% of the people say, yo, she's the most qualified woman ever for this. But, I screwed up on it. It's been a flowing show, but I screwed up on the last one. But, guess what? Doesn't make a difference. We don't care. But I want you to think about that competency. I'm going to read that little paragraph to you real quick. Here's just the latest evidence of it just a few days ago. Although Clinton seems to be facing a tight race with her rival, Donald Trump, a Quinnipiac University poll out Thursday seems to show that American people agree with Obama's assessment to her testament to her qualifications. 62% of likely voters say Clinton is qualified for the presidency, while nearly the opposite amount, 61%, say Trump is not. Think about that. They're basically telling us that, listen, if we want to get into it, Trump is really not qualified to be president. He's not qualified to be part of this. But yet and still, the polls are even now. I put out a video a while ago, and it was just a freelance video. But I really wanted to know, is part of the reason why people have a hard time voting for her is because it's a woman? I really think a lot of people have a hard time saying, you know what, I don't want to vote for a woman. And they're looking for any and every reason. Big ups to Shannon Powell. Big ups to Kristen, Live, Love, and Laugh. Big ups to Ann Pritchard. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you guys want to call in, there is a guest calling line. Please call in. I'd love to hear from you guys. But seriously, I want you guys to think about that for a moment. Think about that in all your honesty. Is it the fact that Hillary Clinton was a woman and played the game the way a woman played, and she won? She did well. Which, when we started off the show, we were talking about conspiracy theories, and I was reading an article earlier how they said that Hillary Clinton was another one of the people that was going to testify against her is dead. And so far, it's like racked up like 50, 60 something people that are dead. I want you to think about that. 50 or 60 something people are dead via supposedly her. Like, people, listen, whatever. I'm going to let that roll. I'm just going to let it roll. I'm just going to let it be whatever it is. The other thing we want to talk about, and we want to kind of get into it, is the economy. Now, a lot of people are just kind of, I'm going to show you this chart real quick. And, you think whatever you want from the chart. I'm just going to give you the chart real quick. It remains a question whether Hillary can use the recent good economic news to her advantage. Economics doesn't explain well in an election. Voters either feel good about the economy or they don't. But she doesn't have to defend she doesn't have to defend sorry economic numbers as Obama did. Plus, she's facing a less reputable businessman. Obama's challenge was greater in beating Romney in 2012, not to mention war hero McCain in 2008. But he was still able to pull out comfortable victories because of the fundamentals of the electoral map so favors Democrats. It would make a historic breakdown in support for Hillary not to duplicate, if not improve upon, Obama's vote totals. So, once again, it's, are we really looking at it as this is where we're going to be with it? Hey, listen, I appreciate you guys being on this call with me. I appreciate you guys being part of the show. I really, love what I do. So on my solo shows, I'm always going to choose topics, and that's what I'm going to spend the, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever I choose to talk to you guys about. So I wanted to talk about the things that could help Trump win, the things that can help Hillary win. I'm not voting. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not voting for anyone. I'm writing in. I'm being 100% honest with you guys. I'm writing in my vote. I'm voting for me. I'm writing in my vote. I'm voting for myself. Why? Because I honestly do not like Trump. I don't like Hillary. I don't like Trump worse than I don't like Hillary. Trump's little assertion that, well, what do you have to lose, was a pathetic, backhanded insult. And anyone that tells me otherwise, they can go screw themselves. I'm be honest with you. If you don't get the disrespect from that, if you don't get the disrespect that he had when he said that, I feel sorry for you, because it was very disrespectful. There was no other way to describe what he did other than be very, very disrespectful. And I really 100%, I will never, ever tell you that, hey, if you vote for Trump, you vote for Trump. That's your opinion. You know what I mean? It's your opinion. You have every right to vote for whoever you want. But I will not vote for Trump. And I think, let me tell you something. I see up and down a lot of these black ministers, a lot of these black people coming out and saying, that's right, vote's the man, Trump's the man, and he says what he's thinking, and he's going to get shit done. Trump has actually pissed off majority of the Republican congressmen and senators. Hillary Rodham Clinton has whether they like her or not, has a working relationship with these people. And that's what a lot of people are not realizing. They have a working relationship with these people. If you have a working relationship with these people, that says a lot. If you have a working relationship with these people in the Congress or wherever, at least you can have their ear. Let's remove a woman, let's remove black, white, whatever, and let's be honest with you. I'm not going to lie that Hillary Rodham Clinton actually is the most qualified. Whether I'm going to vote for her or not, I'm not going to. But she is the most qualified out of these two. Now, do I want a president who, at the drop of a dime, when he's insulted, he wants to tweet out? We have heads of state that have egos just as big as his. And when you tweet crazy crap at 3 o'clock in the morning and telling people to go check out a porn because you want to prove what type of person this is, what do you think that's going to tell specifically? What do you think that's going to tell that leader? That leader has to save face. Trump's people talk about Hillary Clinton being a flip-flopper, but they ignore that Trump is a flip-flopper. I get it. You guys are so angry that you're ignoring a lot of his crap. He's filed 4 bankruptcies. It might have been more. And he said, I'm smart because I don't pay taxes. So are you voting for him because really you want to be that smart? You don't want to pay taxes? So you envy the businessman who figured out how to use the laws to help him save money? Then admit it. You know, I'm allowed to dislike Trump because Trump says a lot of dumb shit. Hillary Clinton ain't done shit for the black community. She has, but she hasn't. The Democratic Party hasn't done anything for the black community. But the Republicans haven't. The argument that the Republicans give about, well, Democrats haven't done any, so you should vote for us. No, not when I see Republican after Republican say the most asinine, racist mantra crap. And I flex back and forth between crap and shit and all that. But you understand what I'm saying. Don't tell me to vote for you when your party is just as guilty. Every time they need to cut funding, what do? They go to the inner city programs and cut those first. Because who cares about the inner city kids? But now they want to turn around and talk about how bad the inner cities are. A friend of mine, Gerard, always talking about, well, all these bad inner cities, they're all Democrat ran. Yeah, but they're also trying to get federal funding. And when federal funding cuts off a lot of these programs that the state was or the city was depending on, what are they supposed to do? Because that's what happens a lot when you get Republicans in office. Listen, during a time with President Reagan, he got it, the inner cities. He cut it after school programs. He got it at, programs, latchkey programs and stuff like that that would help kids. Extracurricular activities, he gutted them in order to save money. I think as we get older, we all get a little bit more on the fiscal conservative. And it's good if you learn that early in life, how to be a fiscal conservative and conserve your money, cash in and cash out, et cetera, et cetera. The minute you got a bill, you pay it. Some of us learn at an earlier age than others. But I think we all need to be honest that we need to stop telling ourselves that how we live our life is why somebody else should vote for them. Because we're telling somebody to vote according to what our opinions are, and we're not taking into account what these people think about. We're not taking into account how these people live, what these people have seen growing up, what these people have experienced. That says a lot about who they're going to vote for. During the last election in 2012, Santorum had enough nerve to say that we've got to get those people off of welfare and maybe we get. And then when he said that, he said, "Who do you mean?" He goes, "Those blue," and he caught himself about to say the black people. Folks, I want to give you a number and tell me if this number sticks in your head. And if it doesn't, I don't care who you are, but I want to know that this number sticks in your head. Understand what I'm about to say to you. 29 million white Americans every month collect welfare. Whether you like it or not, 29 million white Americans collect a welfare check. 15 million black people, people of color, collect welfare check, and then the numbers break down from there. The face of poverty is a single black mother with multiple kids. Every time you see Black Lives Matters going on and people are not at work, what's the first thing you see on a conservative site? First thing, remove their welfare checks. First thing they say. They've embedded the idea that black people only vote Democrat because they want to get a free check. Meanwhile, most of the Republican base is poor white people. I want you to keep that in mind. It's poor white people. That's their base. Go look at a map of those who collect from the government, collect checks from the government. It's poor white people. This is real talk. I'm not Rush Limbaugh. I'm not Hannity. I'm not any of those other idiots that just avoid giving you information. Matter of fact, there's a phone line underneath me if you want to challenge my numbers. Then you want to start playing the game, well, according to society, yeah, you're right. You're right. the black community has more people per community on welfare. But when you do the overall numbers, more white people collect a check every month. So what you're saying is it's okay that white people collect a check every month, but it's wrong that black people collect a check every month. Ignore the 29 million white people, but the black people, yeah, we got to do something about that. When you talk about the crime, you're mad that you're mad about 1% of the illegal aliens commit crime. When you talk about black on black crime, you ignore the white on white crime, because most of the time, if you are not around black people or Spanish people, whoever, you're more than likely to have a crime committed to you by another white person, not a person of color. But these are the things that you ignore. I live in a white community, so I'm more than likely to get hit, shot, killed, stabbed, mugged, whatever, by a white person, because I'm around white people more than anything. These are just simple facts, folks. Simple facts. I don't spit rhetoric. I spit real talk. It's your man, Mr. Direct. I want to thank you guys so much for allowing me to come into your home and be part of what this is. I know a lot of you guys are like, yo, this dude's nuts. I know you think I'm nuts. I'm not. Listen, I get it. Dude's nuts. He's crazy. He ain't got no common sense. I get it. It's more than that, though. It's not that I don't have any common sense. It's that I specifically want to share real talk with you guys, because I want you guys to, call in, have a conversation with me, chat, Ann Pritchard said, vote for Bernie Sanders if you're going to write in a vote. You know what I'm saying? Grady Woody said he was called a racist for using the politically correct terms. All of us have different experiences. All of us have experienced the world in different ways. And what's gone on in this world is that slowly but surely, we've created these walls of comfort. It's time to bring those walls of comfort down, and it's time to have a little bit of real talk. Until the next time I see you people, real conversation. It's always real talk. And listen, do your man a favor. Have a little fun. Go do something with yourself.